Oh, I
Uh,
just wanted to
mhm.
say one more thing on the voting thing, which is
Yeah.
that there's actually polls, just to like illustrate my point.
Hmm.
There's actually polls that have been done that show like a significant portion of Americans cannot name um, the three branches of government. Like if you ask them
Yeah.
to name them, they don't know. It actually used to be a majority of Americans couldn't. So I know like in high school, I actually did a speech like arguing for lowering the voting age, and that was one of the things I cited. That the majority of Americans can't name the three branches of government. Now, since then, I've looked at more recent polls, and it's actually the number has actually gone down. Now most people can, but it's still a significant portion of Americans, the
Hmm.
electorate that can't name it. So like, if we're gonna have all these people voting, like, I mean, I don't think it makes much sense to prohibit 14-year-olds from voting on the basis that they don't know enough. So one point I want to make about this clip is that my phrasing in it was actually kind of weird. You know, I say that in high school I did a speech arguing for lowering the voting age. And in that speech, I cited polling that showed a majority of Americans can't name the three branches of government. But then I mentioned that since then, there's actually been more recent polling showing that the number has actually gone down and now majority can. So now, when I said that the number has gone down, what I meant by that was the number of people who cannot name the three branches of government has gone down, but it was kind of a weird way to phrase it. Anyway, but I was just looking up more some the polling on this, and I actually found something interesting. Funnily enough, even more recent polling has been conducted, showing that what I said in this clip right here was actually outdated because I was thinking of a poll that had been done in 2021 showing that a majority of Americans now actually can name the three branches of government, whereas previous polling had showed that they can't. But now there was actually another poll done in 2022 by the same group, um, Annenberg Public Policy Center, and they found that actually they again found that it's again the case that the majority of Americans cannot name the three branches of government. So they say here that less than half, 47% of US adults could name all three branches of government: executive, legislative, judicial, down from 56 in 2021. One in four respondents could not name any. Yeah, so I just found that interesting. Um, and also, you know, to people who say, oh, well, we can't allow, my question is just to people who say, oh, we cannot allow, you know, teenagers to vote because, oh, they're so fucking stupid. They don't know anything. They know nothing about politics. Well, what's the symmetry breaker between those teenagers and these adults? Because you have a large chunk, actually a majority of the U.S. population. Most adults lack basic political knowledge. They can't name the three branches of government. So I would just ask, um, why should these people be allowed to vote, but teenagers shouldn't be allowed to? Um, you know, in some cases, you might even have a teenager who, if you're going to have a teenager who has the same amount of knowledge, or in some cases, even greater amounts of knowledge, why should they be prohibited from voting, but these people shouldn't? If you're going to say that the reason for prohibiting teenagers from voting is because they lack political knowledge, would you also be in favor of prohibiting most adults from voting? So that would just be my question to people who oppose lowering the voting age.